Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Girl Ask Me Anything Monday Moments. My name is Coach Desi, and I am your friend, and I'm super excited to be here with you tonight again for another Monday Moments. I often say that you and I were built for this moment right here, right now, and I utilize this platform to inspire, mentor, teach, and help women to live out leadership principles. A part of what I do is I am a leadership and technology coach. So I focus my attention on helping later in life women entrepreneurs who are tech challenged and they're new to the entrepreneur world, or they're looking to get into the entrepreneur world, or maybe they've been in this space. And with everything that's going on, we're in this digital transformation. Technology moves really, really fast. And I help them learn how to use it to their benefit so they can stop being frustrated and get back to doing the things that they love. So I love all things tech, I love all things leadership, and I enjoy this time with you. I'm super excited tonight because I have a very special guest with me. And while we are doing this, go ahead, if you would, and share this stream so that people know that we are here and that we are live. And that way, if you did not click the little link above to allow for me to see who is on with me, let me know. Say hello. Let me know where in the world you're joining me from. Always fun to have an international audience and to be able to just chat with you. Okay. I see Charisse. Hello, my dear. Love you. Love you. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. So I asked the question in the post for tonight's guest. What is the strength of your design? What are you built out of? And when it comes to relationships, there's a couple of things that you really truly have to have. Specifically, you and I, we get to choose how we connect with people, how we communicate with them, and how we build long lasting relationship. One thing I know for sure in business, everything's about relationship. In marketing, everything's about relationship. When it comes to building anything worthwhile, anything sustainable, you have to have your mindset together, you got to have your heart set together, and then everything else will come as it is supposed to. So I'm super excited about my guest tonight. Her name is Dr. Theresa Davis. She is an educator, she's a professor, she is an author, and she is the CEO of the Profit Influencer, where her company teaches companies how to market their business. She is also very involved with her community. She runs a nonprofit that incorporates music, literacy, and leadership in after school programs. Now, let me just put a pin in it right here. If I ask you a simple question, the question is, do we need good leadership when it comes to our educational systems and what our children see? Would you raise your hand and say yes? I think everybody would raise your hand and say yes. Cherie says that she loves educators. I love the educators in my life too, Cherise. Thank you very much. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. I'm super excited to bring Dr. Theresa on. Hello, Dr. Theresa.
Hello, good evening, and good evening to all of our watchers and streamers, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for so much for saying yes. I'm always super excited to spend time with amazing women every Monday night because I get to learn so much from each and every one of you. And even though we might come from different professional backgrounds, we all have something in common. And that thing is our intentionality on being good leaders. And so thank you. Thank you for saying yes. And thank you for being a part of my life.
Oh, well, I appreciate all that you've poured into my life. As I told you before, you know, we've known each other for quite some time, and I'm appreciative that of your growth and all you do for others. It's evident.
Thank you so much. I know when I had the way that the Dr. Theresa and I we met was actually through the John Maxwell team. I when I, I tell people all the time when they ask me about it, the best investment that I could have made in my life, best investment because I've been able to meet amazing women from around, I mean just not amazing women, but amazing people from all around the world. And we all have one common purpose, and that's to add value to people. And so yeah, you were my absolute first person, my first friend that I made.
Awesome. Awesome.
So Teresa, tonight I've been reading one of John's books, as I shared earlier, and it's called Relationships 101. And in the space that we're in, COVID, civil unrest, pan just the chaos and the crazy. I can't even get into the whole list of all the things that are taking place. John talks about human relationships, and he talks about the priorities of what human relations need to have, that they need to have. And so I want to start off there. You love to serve your community. What got you into doing the work that you do with your community and abroad?
Well, I think for me, I've served in many school settings, inner city to outlining suburbs. And what it comes down to is, especially our children need to see people that are willing to stand in the gap for them. They need to see people that look like them in all types of jobs. And it doesn't matter if you're the CEO or the custodian. They need you. It's important for them to see you present everywhere and modeling appropriate behavior. And some of that is relationship building. There's charter schools in my town that not one parent would go to the games. And I was talking to a teacher about creating more self-esteem for their students. And I said, part of which is getting to know them and building the relationships. I started going to the games of the students and bringing my kids along,
Mm-hmm.
because not only was that pouring into the leadership of the school and uniting the school, but the children were watching our behavior and the relationship that we were building.
Mm-hmm.
And they need that solid foundation. And really, in times like we're living in, we need to build better relationships,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because people are so quick to judge and let not only their words lash out at somebody, but that invisible, you can put anything on Twitter and it seems to be okay. And that's troublesome to me.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, but
Absolutely. I know we had the opportunity to be trained with Steve Harvey and John Maxwell. And I remember Steve saying, he's like, you've got these thumb gangsters out there.
yep, yep. Mhm.
You can be, quick trigger finger, post it, and then, walk on and go about your business, but not knowing the damage
Mhm.
that comes that can affect their relationships from here on out.
Right.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. How long have you been in business?
Well, I've been teaching probably about 8 years now. Um, maybe slightly longer. I started off working in the medical field, and I worked in an oncology office. And I think that's when I first saw how important building relationships were, because I could look at one of my patients and see something's not quite right, even before the doctor saw them.
Mm.
And the importance of making sure that I left everyone better than I found them,
Mm.
whether if it was a smile, greeting, asking someone how they were. And then I began teaching. And so relationships became even more important because I'm pouring into not only our young people, but I began teaching, at universities. And that's just bigger young people. But, uh, but it's about modeling behavior and teaching them how to create relationships, because I think although you have relationships when you're young, not all of them are have matured.
Mm-hmm.
So I think even teaching in a college setting, we have to instruct our young adults how to create a better, more solid relationship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, when can you tell us about when you discovered your love for helping and serving people in the way that you do?
I think it's been there all along. Even since I was young, I would always be the first to help out somebody because many times I was the underdog.
Mm.
Um, and so it was important for me to model behavior that people hopefully would mimic and see at no matter what level you are, you have a gift that you can share with one another.
Mm-hmm. So,
Um,
your your experience being the underdog,
mhm, mhm.
um, that prompted you to want to help those that also felt like the underdog, or was that was the trigger for you?
I think the trigger. I grew up very poor and um, was moved around a lot when I was young, and then ended up living or being surrounded by a family that didn't look like me.
Mm.
So it was about creating those relationships and finding that common ground, um, and trying to build the bridges in our community, because if I we came from very small community, and when you're out of place, it's known quickly.
Okay, I want to. Is it okay if we dig into that a little bit deeper?
Sure, sure, sure.
So you grew up poor, you said, and
Hmm.
you grew up in a family that didn't look like you. So what was the family composition?
So essentially, I was removed out of my mother's home,
Mhm.
and so being in foster home after foster home, I was brought into a African American family, and we just uh, I grew up, spent my late teens and early 20s. Still to this day, they're very much a part of my family, and I'm very proud of them.
Mhm.
And it created quite a shift for me,
Mhm.
um, because now I was thrusted into something I was not familiar with. And
Mhm.
not only did I have to um, become secure within myself and say, this is my family, I love them, they love me. Um, but constantly having to defend. But with that being said, it was also an opportunity to build that bridge and pour into people and um, create conversations
Yeah.
that a lot of people are afraid to have.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. And I mean, I know your story. I know your background because you shared it with me. And so for the Girl Ask Me Anything audience, I know this is all new to them, and I'm introducing you to them. Um, so you grew up, you went through the foster care system, and I love how the very experience that you've had, you now as a professor, as a doctor, as an educator, you're also a foster parent.
I am. For it's been many, many years, you
and you're
know.
and you're a homeschooling parent as well too,
And I have the college kids home
and you have the
also.
college kids.
Woo! Yes, I I've homeschooled several times throughout my children's lives. That middle school age is very troubling for me. That's when a lot of kids um, get into mischievous acts, and parents suddenly believe once they hit junior high, they're done.
Mm,
But that's when you need to pour into them more. And since my schedule had changed, I wanted to make sure that my last two little ones, they had my full attention
hmm
because they went to a charter school where most of the kids were very entitled. And I noticed in fifth and sixth grade, some habits began to form.
mm,
And I said, we're not doing that. So I brought them home, and it's third year, and it's been quite the adventure
hmm
because when I did it the first time, we didn't have as much social media as we do now and internet access. And, that's, we're talking the days of AOL and dial up. Right. That's how old this is. So,
I love it. I love it. Let's see here. We've got some folks watching. I see Sharice here. Thanks for joining us, Sharice. I know she's also an educator. She says, "I love middle school. You gotta watch them. You
yes.
gotta watch them." So tell us this, Teresa. You took the gifts that you've been given, no matter how challenging they were as a young person, and you navigate your way through life. You've got several advanced degrees. You are also a TED Talk speaker,
I
which I neglected to mention earlier. Um, and you've had so many wonderful accomplishments. The profit influencer, your business.
Sure. Hmm.
How do you help business owners and companies and entrepreneurs increase their profits through relationship marketing? Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Well, I think it's a multi-level step process. First, I go in and assess their business, their finances, how they're marketing on social media, what the communication and leadership styles are of the people running their business. Um, because I'm of the thought that everybody has something to offer, whether say if it's a restaurant and the cashier versus the supervisor. If the cashier has some, they're the ones that are in the thick of it. You need to listen to them. They might have a system to make it flow better.
Mm-hmm.
So I just go in and do an intensive um, dive in, and then we have a multi-step process on how to turn around their income in, and increase their profits.
Okay, got it. And what is when you decided? I mean, because you have expertise in so many different areas, so many different areas,
Overachiever. I know.
right? Can anyone say
Well, I
that?
think that stems from my childhood when, my father told me women were supposed to stay home and just have babies. And I get that, right? Yes, yes. And he married me to well, eventually I married a man that was the same way. So most of my achievements were just for myself. I can do this. And I can't ask any of my daughters or even my sons to do anything I'm not willing to do.
Yes. So
So,
you set the pace for them to achieve high. I know
yes.
one of your daughters is a doctor.
Yes, I have a psychologist, I have a professor, my son has a degree in criminal justice, and everybody else is in college except for the two high schoolers.
Wow.
Yeah.
You are definitely an amazing woman. Definitely an amazing
Oh,
woman. What is one thing that you wish you would have known when you began um, your journey in becoming a better business leader?
confidence.
Let's talk about it.
I, I think I think women are underestimated um, of their brilliance, and they buy into it that they're less than their male counterparts. And this is not male bashing. I know some amazing men, but we have to have the confidence.
Mhm.
No matter what we look like, no matter where we come from, and as women, we need to support one another.
Yes, indeed.
Um, I'm in many women's groups, and I sit back and I watch people tear each other down, and I said, that's not how it's supposed to be. Even you guys could both be, say, realtors, competing. Why don't you guys do joint ventures and build on each other?
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's the same philosophy any field that you're in.
Yeah,
We could be so much better if we support one another, and it starts by relationship building.
absolutely. Listen, Joanne says here, she says, women underestimate their brilliance. We need to own and celebrate our brilliance.
Exactly. Here we're at some of us that are at home are, working. We're teaching the kids. We're the cabbie. We're, the teacher at home doing work with our kids. We're the chef. We balance budgets. Claim what you do. And for those who are at home, you're not just a homemaker. You also keep your house tidy and you do the laundry and you know, um, give yourself credit because credit is surely due.
Absolutely. You know, we, Cherise says, you got me shouting over here. Listen, y'all, let me tell you something about Dr. Theresa. If you want somebody in your corner that can pray the roof down,
Mm, yeah,
she is a prayer warrior. No
thank
shame in her game. She will pray the roof off of anything. It's a beautiful thing. Um,
you gotta speak to the mountain to make it move.
you got to tell the mountain.
I always tell people I'm 7 foot tall, and they look at me, and I'm really 5'2", but on the inside I'm 7 foot tall. I will command that mountain to move,
Mm-hmm.
and it's about confidence and claiming what's yours. And it's time, ladies, to claim what belongs to us. That's income. That's goal setting. That you need to claim what you want in life and go get it because you can do it.
That's right. That's right. We absolutely can. And we can take whatever's been put in our hand, no matter if it's good, no matter if it's bad, no matter if it's If it makes us look like we're not winning, or if we are, we can take whatever we've been given in our hand and we can use it because God has fully resourced us to do what it is that He's called us to do.
And I didn't start out, I want to be clear with the ladies, with all these titles. It took me 25 years. Sometimes it was one class at a time. And for those who don't know, I've been raising 13 kids for the last 10 years. So, you know.
Wait a second. Listen, you guys, did you hear what she said? 13 kids.
By myself.
13 children by herself over the past 10 years. 13.
Yeah.
My goodness. My goodness.
So I don't want to hear any excuses. If it's one class at a time, or if it's reading a book, you can go to the library. There's things you can find on YouTube. Just start pouring into yourself. We should do that no matter what degree level.
Absolutely.
I don't really watch TV other than HGTV. Not that I'm giving them a plug. I think I could build a tiny house. But if I have idle time, I want to read or watch something educational, just to honor where I'm at, just to continue to pour into myself.
Mm-hmm. Typically when we think about relationships, we think about relationships with other people, right? Whether it's friends, family, colleagues, business partners, but we also need to have a relationship with ourselves. And we need to be able to understand who we are at the very, very core, that whole identity piece, right? And in that identity piece, we will discover, once we connect with her, we will understand what we are made of. And God can actually, He can actually let us know, okay, I have built you for this. I have fully equipped you, fully resourced you for you to go. Now, in the going and the doing, that identity piece has everything to do with being, right? And being, you must know the person very, very intimately and very, very well. What advice would you give a woman who is struggling in that area of identity and knowing herself and having that relationship with herself so that she can be confident and she can be clear and move in that path? What advice would you give her to do that?
I think journaling would be very important for her, and finding out what it is that you like to do, and what makes you happy, and how can you teach others to do that, and what is your gifting. When my kids were little, I liked what my husband liked, and that's kind of how I was trained in my formative years. Like my father didn't eat chicken, so I didn't eat chicken. And then he married me to a man that didn't eat pork, so I didn't like chicken or pork. And so once he passed away, I had to sit and find that little person inside of me, because I didn't know if I liked pork chops. I was afraid to let her out and to explore. And it's okay to try new things.
Yeah.
And you might mess up or not like something, and that's okay. But also journal your hopes and your dreams, and take action. Take an action step.
Take what's inside of you and pour it out so that you can see it.
Exactly. Because if you don't write it down, it's just going to vapor away.
Or when they talk about the cemetery is the most, it is the wealthiest and most abundant place because that's where all the ideas
Hmm.
died,
Hmm.
or the music died inside the people. It went with them, and this world doesn't get to see the beauty of what could have been, whether it was because of lack of confidence or
I
fear.
love I love having conversations with all ages of women to find out what their goals and dreams are and how to attain that and how can I help you attain that? Because I've been there. I had to search for that person, and I'm not out to seek any personal gain. I just want you to be happy
Mm-hmm.
and discover it. So many people, women are walking around believing they can't do it or they're somebody else's wife or mom and really don't get to the core of who they are.
Yeah.
And it makes me sad.
Mm. Yeah. It is really a sad situation and when we don't clearly know who we are and the potential that we have inside of us, right? When you begin to discover that, oh, wait a second, I can do this.
Hmm. Hmm.
Just that simple belief of, no, I can do this. Taking that simple step, it can shift and change everything, I believe.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Everyone that is joining me now, you guys know me. I'm Coach Desi with Excellence by Design. I am here with my friend Dr. Theresa Davis, who is a TED speaker. She's an author of several books. She's a university professor. She's a foster mom. She has a nonprofit that serves at-risk communities with music and leadership and music leadership, and there's one more.
Literacy and actually civic responsibility because I think it's important for our kids to learn to give back.
Yes.
Many of our kids are attached to devices.
Mm-hmm.
And with my kids, we're out there in the trenches, feeding the hungry, helping their classmates, cleaning churches and schools, and because they need that. They need that sense that this is what we're supposed to do as human beings
Mm-hmm.
and don't look for a payday from it.
Serve because it is the right
That's
thing.
your job as a human to give back, somehow use your talents.
Yeah. What's that saying? It's the rent we pay for living this life, right?
Oh,
Being in,
exactly.
being in service to others. Um, One of the things that I do know that I want to be beyond all the things that you already do, right? And I mean, we cover the gamut here. One of the things that I admire so much about you is that not only have you dug your heels into the trenches of service, but you have done that going through your own personal challenge.
Hmm.
And would you share just a little bit, however much you want to share, with the with my community, your personal challenges and how God has used that and equipped you to continue in your service to others?
Well, this year especially um, has been extremely difficult. And this is coming from even though I've been trained to give shots, be the caregiver, I had to be the patient. This is the second time in the last 3 years that I've had major surgery. One happened to be at a conference in Orlando where I had surgery in the middle of the night. But this year, they did brain surgery. Um, I know it doesn't look like it because I have all this hair, but I had a very amazing surgeon who actually pulled my hair to the side and I woke up with it braided. And he only took a man. He had daughters. I found out he had daughters, so I was very
Oh,
appreciative. And so I began to lose sight in my eye, and I couldn't smile anymore. And I had a circus on my face because my face would jump around. So they had to, drill in my skull, go in, move uh, a lot of the nerves and reconnect nerves and blood vessels because I had some clots growing. Um, so this happened in June, and I have some plates in my head, and the kids love it because they said, "Oh, if she's acting a little weird, she might have a screw loose. Let us check." So, it's all good because I have as you know, a wacky sense of humor. You got to laugh about it or cry about it. And it's so much easier to laugh.
yeah.
But I went into the surgery with peace, an uncanny peace that made my whole family nervous. I
Mm.
still have that peace because it's been interesting. Several people, even within our John Maxwell family, have had brain issues that have been able to connect with and build a relationship that might not have been there. Also, knowing the need at different conferences, how people are coming with different abilities and they want to learn. And it's teaching me to be of service in those areas
Mm-hmm.
because at the last couple of conferences, I couldn't see. Even with the screens right above our tables, I still couldn't see.
Mm.
And now, any additional conferences I go to, I can't hear on one side, but yet I can see. So, it's give and take. And I didn't go blasting on social media. I told a few friends. And why I didn't share, I think there's an element of oversharing.
Yes.
And for me, this may not work for everybody. I want people to know that, you know, I think it's important to just continue the routine with no excuses. There were bad days. There were days that I made the kids put a chair next to my bed and I could only sit up for 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were times the next day, okay, it was 5 minutes because there was a John Maxwell conference that I was going to sit through in August. So I would practice every day for like 5 minutes, you know, start out only being once a day and then 5 minutes. So my point is, if you want something bad enough, you'll find a way. And, I'm not going to chastise or condemn or judge someone else, but that's just my own journey. I want my kids to see whatever life gives you at the current moment, make the best of it. I got a lot of quiet time to think and develop. And of course, I lost some of my short term memory, but how wonderful that is because I can go back and read some of the same books and get a totally different perception on it. I have a second chance to rebuild relationships that maybe I would have judged somebody incorrectly.
Wow.
So, what a wonderful gift that is.
See, I knew that I needed to have you in this space talking to you, hearing your story, because that type of inspiration, knowing that it challenged the very fiber and any excuses that I may have found myself in, to have that perspective shift of, you know what, we can take the very, very worst of the worst and we can choose to see the best and then walk in the best.
Mhm.
You know, there's an intentionality behind that it doesn't come from without, it comes from within. It comes from within. Um, we've been on here for about 40 minutes now. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this
Wow.
up. One of the things that I often say to my community, and this is the last question that I want to ask you, is we are built for this moment right here, right now. And if there was, well, I mean, you've been encouraging us all this time. If there was one thing that you know that God has gifted you with and made you built for this moment right now, what would that be?
To pour into everybody, pour love into everyone you meet and leave them better than you found them, despite how you feel. And that's, even in our, times of this political strain, COVID, there's no excuse. I text probably 10 people, 10 to 20 people a day. How are you? Do you need anything? I get on Facebook. I send, how are you guys doing? Do you guys need anything? I have a women's group, a free women's group. That's just a support group that women will support one another.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we'll do fun little quizzes, but I definitely want to be a pillar. God put so many pillars around me as I think about through the years. I didn't even realize that they were protecting me because
Mm,
God knew that He had great plans for me. And He has great plans for all of us. We just have to be open and willing to go with it
yeah,
and trust the process.
and trust the process.
It may not be tomorrow, it may not be a year from now, 2 years from now, but He has a plan. And in due season, it's going to come.
Absolutely. Wow. 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 Wow, Dr. Teresa. When I was thinking about a title for this live, because I kind of I like for it to be free flowing. I mean, I've got some stage questions here, but I really just love when women can just get together as girlfriends and just really just be honest and open with one another and just talk. And I am so grateful that you said yes, because the title of this is called Built to Last. And with the experiences that you've had over your life and how you have just poured into us to know that two words: no excuses.
Mhm.
No excuses. Know who you are, no excuses, and get to work. I don't think it gets any plainer than that.
And you can do it.
You can do it.
You can do it. Even when everybody else, when they don't believe in you, you can still do it.
Mhm. You can absolutely do it. I am grateful. I thank you. I had a whole nother place that I wanted to go, and I think
We'll
this
have to do a part two.
we'll have to do a part two. We'll have to do a part two. I just want to thank you so much, Theresa. I love you. I
I
appreciate
love
you.
you too.
I'm so grateful that God has kept you. He's given you back your health. You can now smile again. You can,
Yes. I couldn't do that before, guys.
yeah.
I looked like I had stroke face.
So
So I'm great.
your perspective on the health challenges that you've dealt with and how you continue to go and continue to serve and help others, not only personally but in business, it is admirable. And I think more people need to know about you.
Oh, thank you. Thank
I
you.
definitely do. So how can people find you? You talked about this, the support group that you have. How can they
I'll
find
find it on Facebook. It's Lady Leaders Lead. Just send me a request. I'll grant it. Um, Always reach out to me on by email, speakerteresa@mail.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm on a respite for Twitter for a few more days until this post-election stuff.
Oh,
Gotta
honey,
keep it
yes.
calm. Um, but I'm out in social media, so please find me. Yeah, if you send me a friend request and I don't get it right away, drop me a message. You need encouragement? Drop me a message. You need a cheerleader? Drop me a message.
Yeah. Yeah. I,
Because
I
it's
appreciate you so much.
we're all in this sisterhood. We're in it together.
That's right.
And
That's
I'm going to fight for you just as hard as I fight for myself. And like I was telling Desi before, we've known each other a long time, and I'm so proud of how far she's come. Not that you just it. I don't know. I'm a little bit older, and it's like watching my little sister grow and blush. She was a beautiful flower, and she just started to bloom, and she always still always beautiful, but just bloom out there and spread around, let everybody else see her beauty. It excites me that you know you're getting it. You're out there, you're pouring into others, and that thrills me because we need a million more of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
Thank
she has adorable children, for anybody that hasn't noticed. I'm just saying.
I appreciate you so much, my dear. Well, thank you again. Thank you for the affirmation. Thank you for being a part of my journey and being one that you've been encouraging me since day one. Literally, I joined the John Maxwell team in February of 2016. Yeah, 2016. And literally, once I got into the community, you were the first person to say, "Hey, if you need anything, I'm here for you." Didn't know me from Adam or Eve,
No,
and just continue to connect and inspire me and check in on me. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful. And I'm so thankful for God has brought you. Keep doing what you're doing, Theresa. The world needs more of you. And thank you for sharing your Monday moment with us.
thank you so much.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close us out. Thank you, everyone, for joining me tonight on Monday Moments. If you are not a part of the Girl Ask Me Anything community, I would highly encourage you to come in, check us out. We are here to uplift you, to give you a place where you can be you, be comfortable, be free, and grow and grow. That's important. Do not forget, you were made for this moment, right here, right now. And I will see you again next week. Take care of yourself.